listening to videos of some other guy. He often talks about infinity in his experience, as if I mean he's what he's saying is very consistent with what I hear from you and from the non-dual people. And he's talking about in this ego death, you getting this you're seeing the limitlessness of life, or he calls it infinity or God. But when I even say take when I'm in a when I take a drug, I would still experience this as a very finite thing, as a very finite. I think these spiritual people also often talk about boundlessness of some sort, or spaciousness. You know probably these terms. But then I'm again like then I would again say, yeah, but wait a minute, like I still have just this very finite orb of experience. It's like a ball, almost like this sphere of experience around me, right? The stuff that I can see. I buy. There's no person there. There's nobody here, but it's still just this finite ball of color and sound around me. That's such a finite experience. This is not infinity. That doesn't feel like God. This is just like a tiny freaking speck, right? So why do these people always talk so happily about how they're merging with infinity and God when it seems so finite?
Mhm. It's more that nothing is experienced from the body. Like the body isn't, I can't say that I'm in the body seeing, talking, touching.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel boundless and centerless. So there is no location in that sense. I don't know what location is, because when the center drops, then it is free. It's just expansiveness, but not in the sense that visually I can see everything or sense everything. It's not like that. It's
Right. Mm-hmm.
just that simply a center, a subtle center seemed to drop. It could be more contracted, I don't know. But here it seemed kind of subtle. And then there was a center of a feeling of non-location. Nothing is arising for someone or to someone, uh, or in contrast or in relation to someone. It's just what's happening simultaneously all at once, which is not understandable. It's just a complete happening that's not describable, definable. There's no boundaries to it. The only definitions that are given to things is an idea and concept from the mind that gives things meaning and seeming solidity, but it's not solid. We don't know what anything is.
So you're not debating that. You I mean you see your room, you see the colors, you see the sounds, but this is like something where you can't point to a particular center or to a particular location of a me or something. It's a blob of some sort that without location, preferred location in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah. I can't. Yeah, so I can't even say it's the room. Like there's no logical knowing of exactly what everything is. Like obviously the mind knows, like, okay, I'm in my apartment, and like in that sense, you know, that kind of logic doesn't just fall apart. But there isn't really uh, an ability to really define exactly what everything is, because we just don't know anything. Already everything is just free energy.
Let me ask you about that, or hook into that statement, because sometimes I had times when I thought about that. Like, okay, so sometimes I talk to friends about, like, I try to talk them into this type of thought where I say, basically, okay, like how do I start this? Like, I don't know if that's the same thing that you're talking about. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. So I would tell to a friend, look, we have absolutely no idea that anything that we're saying or thinking or seeing makes any sense whatsoever. These are, you could think of it as this could be just noises, nonsense noises that are constantly happening. We're constantly in the belief that, I'm logical right now. I'm kind of moving towards a conceptual goal where I try to express something, but all this could be just wah 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 wah, right? And so I may say that to a friend, you might get the sense of that feeling when you really think about it, that feels pretty weird. It's in a way, for a moment, I'm trying for a moment to suspend the belief that of all the interpretation, or that we believe this makes any sense, right? Perhaps that has something to do with what you're talking about. I don't know. I wonder if that be so. I basically I'm questioning whether I know anything, right? Because I can never prove that what's happening right now. I call that thoughts. I'm just making a logical argument, right, of sorts. I have no way of proving that makes any sense whatsoever, right? This could be just gibberish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a philosophical thought, if you want, a philosophical doubt, right? I can do that. I don't know if that's the same as the thing that you're experiencing, right? Or if it's maybe it's related.
Yeah, I don't know, but it can be related. It seems to happen on its own that the what I thought I knew just seemed to fall away.
And when you say, I mean, so on the one hand, your mind is perfectly capable of processing your room and the functionality of it, right? But in another sense, you say you don't know anything. Is this again like with the memories? You're not taking the conceptual thoughts so seriously because it can easily drop away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not doing it on purpose, or I'm not. mm, It's just really clearly seen through that it's just, yeah, thought. It's just noise. But the body is programmed, and I'm not. There isn't really a conscious like noticing of why I can still walk down the street and go to the same park and go to the same bench, and it just happens. So the body's just programmed to do what it wants. And it's always been that way. It was just that there was a sense that owned all of it, that thought that it was doing it and it was making the decision, and it knew what exactly it was doing and what everything was and what it was in relation to me.
But in a way, if I may interject, so in a way, you do know. I mean, you do know how to, I don't know, ride a bicycle, or you do know how to use the key to open the door. So in that sense, your brain and body know perfectly well how these things work. So in that sense, you know things, right?
Uh-huh. There's relative knowing, but it comes from, not from, but like it is unknowing still. We kind of don't know what that key is because it's just free energy again, which is nothing. It's empty. Like conceptually, we can understand when it goes in, it locks and unlocks. But it is like conceptually constructed still. It's a relative knowing, but it's still all unknown.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Was there ever any other knowing? I mean, I thought that when I know something, it's always just that, right? I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I just know that there's something happen. I don't know how to put it. There's must be some knowing involved because I'm able to open the door, right?
Yeah, relative knowing. The body knows a lot. It can know a lot. Knows how to draw. It knows how to cook. It knows how to.
Which includes your, when you say body, this also includes your brain, right? I mean, your brain is functioning, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as I said, I would agree that we don't really know what the fuck is going on,
Huh?
but I don't know if that's what you're talking about or what do you mean by saying it's something's not known?
Um, it's like do you really know what looking is? Do you know what the brain is?
No.
It's functioning? Do you know nothing's known because everything is empty. It's seen as it's nothing, everythinging, nothing, computering, nothing speaking, nothing thinking. And these are all labels that we put onto things, but everything is absolutely nothing. It's totally empty. So all the meaning, all the meaning and relative knowing we put onto everything, it's not really known, but it's like relatively known in the context of making sense of things and the ability to speak about things. And
In a way, it seems what you're saying is like the meaning and hence the knowing is really something that's coming from our mind and is put in a way, it's layered on top of reality. And if you cut out the ego or the self, then the meaning is pulled out in a way, and then you also lose the knowing in a sense. So you see just raw reality without that layer superimposed on it.
yeah, so but what also I think is part of it is that it when the me seems here, it seems solid. It seems solid, like I'm the body, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of projects solidity onto everything. So then it sees a solid body, a solid person in that body. It can project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it does it, but it seems like that's a tree. I know that that's a tree. It for some reason it solidifies it.
Mm-hmm.
So when that dissolves, then everything is seen as empty because this body is empty.
Interesting. Is it perhaps a bit like a movie? I mean, when we watch a movie, we may get very absorbed by it, and it temporarily may feel like real, but we know that the movie is just like pictures, animated pictures, right? Is it a bit like that, like just like the colors on the screen?
Um, yeah, I guess you could use that as a comparison. It just, uh, yeah, even that seems too conceptual, but
I mean, it's just an analogy, right? So
yeah, yeah, I guess you can say something like that.
okay, cool. Now it became an interview of a mystic, our conversation.
Yeah, but there is nothing to get. Nothing will finally satisfy that sense because what it's searching for, in a way, you can say is itself because it itself is this boundless freedom already. It can't get anything. It will never finally become satisfied.
Yeah, I got that.
And it also doesn't know what it wants is actually really terrible for itself. It's a
Well,
death.
Well, in an intellectual sense, I know about that because I read a lot, and or trip reports, for example. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how that is.
Could feel terrible.
I'm okay with that. I want that. If you gave me the choice, as I said, if you gave me the pill now, I would take it. It's not like it's very unlikely that I'm gonna harm other people as a result, probably. So maybe it's fine.
Yeah. No, in a way, the character kind of does seem to stay the same. It's just the extra layers of I should be this way, I shouldn't be this way that seem to fall away. But the essence of the character is kind of just, I didn't suddenly become totally extroverted. I'm still like introverted, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's 5 o'clock.
Okay. It was nice speaking to you.
Yeah, it was interesting. Thanks. Thanks for the conversation.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.